Okay, so today we are learning about systems of inequalities. We've already graphed inequalities before. Now we're just going to be graphing two or more. So our solution to a system of inequalities is just going to be the overlapping region of points that satisfies both inequalities. So we're just going to graph them like we normally would. So first step when we graph an inequality, we're going to make sure that our equation is in slope-intercept form. So for x plus y greater than -1, I need to move x to the other side by subtracting it. So I'm going to have y is greater than -x minus 1. And then for my second equation, I need to move x over to the other side. So I have -y is greater than -x plus 5. I can't have a -y, so I just need to multiply everything by -1. And when I do multiply everything by -1, my sign in the middle is going to flip. So I'm going to have y is less than x minus 5. All right, so now I'm ready to graph. So I have my two equations I'm going to graph, and that's step 1. So I have y is greater than -x minus 1. So I need to start at -1. And then my slope is -x. So that means I need to go down 1 and to the right 1. So I drew a few extra points on there. So since I have greater than, that means I'm going to have a dashed line. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and I'm going to draw a line here, a dashed line. All right, so there is my line of y is greater than -x minus 1. So now I'm going to use my test point with that equation. So I'm going to plug in 0. So is 0 greater than 0 minus 1? So 0 greater than -1? Yes, it is. So that means that 0, 0 is in my shaded region. So I'm going to actually take a colored pencil and shade it in. So I'm going to use red to shade in my solution for that equation. All right, so then I'm just going to graph my second equation. So I have y less than x minus 5. So I go down to -5. And now I need to go up 1 and over 1. All right, and I have less than, which means I need a dashed line. So I'm just going to draw a line through these points, a dashed line through these points. And there is my line for y is less than x minus 5. I'm going to cross this out. All right, so now I need to do my test point for this equation. So I have 0 less than 0 minus 5. So is 0 less than -5? No, it is not. So I need to shade the side of this equation that does not include 0, 0. So when I do that, I'm going to show you the overlapping area. So I'm going to shade this whole side. So anything in this section right here is going to be one of our solutions. So anything right here where these two overlap. All right, so I will do number 2 also. So I start with -x plus 3y is less than 21. So first thing I need to do is move my x. So I need to add it to both sides. So I get 3y is less than x plus 21. And then I need to divide everything by 3. So I get the equation y is less than 1/3 x plus 7. And then my second equation is already in slope-intercept form, so I don't need to do anything with that. All right, so when I graph my first equation, so I have y is less than 1/3 x plus 7. So I need to start at 7. I need to go up 1 and over 3. Okay, so I have some points there. So I have less than. So my graph or my line is going to be dashed. I'm just going to turn my paper so it's easier for me to make my line. So I have another dashed line. All right, so there's my dashed line for this. All right, so then I'm going to graph. So then I'm going to use my test point. So I have 0 less than 1/3 times 0 plus 7. So is 0 less than 7? Yes. So I'm going to shade my side that has my test point on it, which is 0, 0. So I take my red colored pencil. I'm going to shade this whole part in. Okay. So then I'm going to go to my second equation. So I have y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 4. So I'm going to start at 4, make a point. Then I'm going to go down 1 and over 1, down 1 and over 1. All right, and this time I have a greater than or equal to, so I'm going to have a solid line. Okay, so there's my solid line. So now I need to use my test point. So is 0 greater than or equal to 0 plus 4? So is 0 greater than or equal to 4? No, it is not. So I have to shade the side that does not include 0, 0 in it. So when I look at this line, I would either need to shade this side or this side. So I'm going to shade up here because that's where 0, 0 is not included. And then my solutions to this inequality would be in this section right here. All right, so now I'm going to show you some examples on IXL. I'm just going to do one example and then you guys will complete this for your homework. So you're going to go into T6. There's a link in the folder. So you're going to solve the system of inequalities by graphing. So we have x is less than or equal to 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and graph that. And we know that that's a vertical line. So if I needed to change this to a dashed line, I just needed to click on the line to change it to a dashed line. But this one I need a solid line. Right, then I also have x is greater than or equal to negative 7. So I just need to click between the equations to graph them. So then I go to negative 7. I draw a line there. This one I also need a solid line. So then I need to shade. So when I look at x is less than or equal to 4, I know that that would be in this area. When I look at x is greater than or equal to negative 7, here's negative 7, all of my solutions would be in here. So the shared area that they have is right in the middle. So then we can submit that, and we got it right. All right, so here's an example where we have an x and a y, so I'll do this one too. So if we have x is greater than negative 4, so I need to switch this to a dashed line. So I'm just going to scroll up a little. I'm going to change it to a dashed line. So then I come down here, I'm going to change it. And now I have y is greater than or equal to negative 1. So I have negative 1. I'm going to have a solid line. So now I need to figure out where I need to shade. Well, if x is greater than -4, then I know I'm going to shade this side. So then I also have y is greater than or equal to -1. So that would be up here. So my shared area is right here. All right, so go ahead and complete your practice on your notes, those 4 other problems, and then complete the IXL for your homework.